Most virtual orchestra don't sound fake because of the libraries, they sound fake because the orchestra isn't reacting like a real orchestra. Listen to this. Now, listen again. Same libraries, same notes, but completely different result. So, what changed? What changed is that every section started to listening to each other. Let me show you how. Let's start thinking like we are in a real rehearsal. Listen to the brass. Okay, they have the main motif, and they already have some expression curves to add accentuation to the beginning of every note. Plus, the percussion is helping to reinforce those accents as well. In a real orchestra, musicians listen to each other while playing. For example, look at the timpani. In most cases, they are positioned behind the brass. So, if we ask the timpanis to give some momentum right before the accent, it will create that exact acoustic inertia. So, I'm just going to create some swelling waves with the expression curve on the tremolos. Now, imagine you are playing the violin in the string section. If you hear this and you have an accent indication, it will make you react to that wave. Let's make the strings react. While listening to the timpani, we balance the expression curve of the strings. Let's start with the first violin. Now, let's do the exact same thing across the rest of the string section, the violas and the cellos. Look at the automation curves. Each time the wave gets bigger, creating that physical sensation of crescendo built by levels. Now let's add some cymbals with the same logic. A cymbal hit right on the accents and a cymbal crescendo just to push to create that inertia. This is the way a real orchestra reacts. Every player knows their role and listens to the others. For example, watch the curve here. This is an orchestral crescendo driving toward the climax. But look at the very last note right here, after the peak. Brass players normally hold back because they know exactly how much power they have. For instance, here we have the rhythmic motif of the trumpets. Automatically, after hitting the climax, the rest of the brass section will back down the volume to listen and clear the way for the trumpets. So, we are going to drop the volume just for a moment to create that acoustic pocket for the trumpets, and then building back up to the final climax. Listen, we have to do this especially in the low register instruments like the tuba. Now let's drop the volume. Let's do the exact same thing across all the other sections, including the strings tremolos as well. Now, the trumpets finally have some space, but they still need some help. Let's make them feel alive by giving them a clear musical intention using just the MIDI velocity. Listen. We need some accents here. This is a martial motif, so we are going to exaggerate the velocity accents. Now, look at the woodwinds. They share the exact same motif, but here they only serve as a color. They act as a rhythmic and timbral support. So, let's give them the same musical intention, but keeping them balanced so they don't mask or cover up the trumpets. Let's add some percussion to help reinforce this motif. Okay, but let's give this snare drum some intention. It has to give some support to the accent of the trumpet, something like ta 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 trrr, trrr. Okay, let's listen all together. Here is an important point. For realism, everything has to fit. Not just the volume and the balance, but the acoustic of the room, the tempo, and everything else. For example, the tempo can create that exact sensation of the orchestra expanding and getting bigger. Let's use the tempo track to make the sound feel not just louder, but making the actual sonic mass feel genuinely massive. I mean, from this point to this point, we have to create the sensation that the orchestra is getting bigger, heavier. No bad, but we can exaggerate every accent. Okay, it's like getting bigger, bigger and heavier before the climax, but after the climax, we need a little of accelerando. Now, listen to everything working together as one system. This is what happens when you start thinking like a real orchestra. Every section listening, reacting, making space, building tension together. I didn't learn this from a plugin manual. I learned this standing on a podium in front of real orchestras across Europe and Japan for over 10 years. This is how real musicians think. And now you can apply that exact mindset to your DAW. If you want to go deeper, I put together a free masterclass, especially on the hardest part, making virtual strings feel alive. It's called the Strings Legato Masterclass. Why your virtual strings still sounds programmed and how to fix it. Click in the link below for immediate access. Let's step up onto the podium.